My washing's just fallen off the line. Love that for me. Hello, thank you for watching this video, well, clicking on it. You might not watch it. This is very off the cuff, but I thought I would film this video because earlier I put on my Insta story a couple of questions about nutrition and weight loss and your goals and things like that to help me with my studying, and I found that I got very much the same response from a lot of people around counting calories and, you know, proteins, carbs, fats, just the same questions. So I thought I will answer the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, now, stick it on a video, and then if you're confused about any of those things, you can just tap this video and the answer is going to be right here for you. I will try and make it as simple as possible, so if you are, you know, a health and fitness professional, I'm not trying to dumb it down, but there's a lot of long words and I just want to make it nice and easy. So I've got the questions here that I got asked, things like that. So I've got, I think, 5 questions that I'm going to answer, so hopefully this won't go for too long. But I thought I'd start with very basic calories, macros, and how to know when you're in a calorie deficit. So hopefully I can explain this, that it will make sense, and you can just keep this in your locker forever, because what I'm about to say is fact. Up for debate, but yeah, it's fact. Okay, so every single person has something called a BMR, a basal metabolic rate. So if I was to lay in bed all day long, my body would burn a certain amount of calories just by digesting, breathing, moving my arms, anything you're doing. You know, your organs always working, your heart is always beating, your body is always using energy, even if you're not, you know, sprinting a marathon. So for me personally, my BMR, so the calories I would burn in one day without doing anything, is around 1400. You can obviously work out your own. There's so many different calculators you can do online, but the first thing you would want to do is work out your basal metabolic rate. So without doing anything, I would burn about 1400 calories every day. And then when you add on, you know, getting out of bed, going to work, cooking your dinner, digesting your food, actually planning, you know, your planned exercise, then it will obviously be a lot more than that. So for me personally, in a day, my kind of total daily energy expenditure, my TDE, is around 2200 calories. So if I was to eat that every day, I should maintain my weight, not gain weight, and just stay the same. But if you want to lose weight, then obviously I'd want to take that back. So I'd want to be in a calorie deficit, burning more calories than I'm consuming and expending more energy than I'm not expending. So for me, well, I do eat in a calorie deficit, kind of. I try and aim for about 1900 calories every day. I do work out most days, but the easiest thing to do is just go online, go on a calorie calculator. My 2 favorites are Precision Nutrition, so just go on the Precision Nutrition website, and the calorie calculator should be on there. Or James Smith has a good one on his Academy website, and I think it's just jamessmithacademy.com/calorie calculator, but just Google it, and you'll just put in your height, your weight, your gender, your age, and your activity level. So you can work it out yourself. There is a formula to work out how many calories you should be eating in a day to lose weight, maintain weight, or gain weight. But just get a calorie calculator to do it for you. So yeah, do that, and then you can literally put that into a calorie tracking app like MyFitnessPal, and then you can see if you're in a calorie deficit. If you aren't training, or if you're very, very sedentary, your calorie intake will be a lot less. I don't feel as hungry on my rest days as I do if I've trained legs or something. So you can just kind of adapt. And I don't think you should track calories for the rest of your life. I think that is stupid. But for me personally, for the first year that I was kind of getting into health and fitness, I tracked my calories, and now I can literally just eyeball a plate of food, pretty much know how many calories and how many grams of proteins, carbs and fats are on that plate. But that's just something that comes with practice, and it's really not a big deal to just start tracking your calories. It won't take much time, and that is the surefire only way to be in a calorie deficit, because otherwise how are you supposed to know how many calories you're eating? Oh, and statistically we do we underestimate how much we eat by about 20 to 30%. Learned that fact watching Secret Eaters. So yeah, track it as accurately as you can. That kind of brings me on to another frequently asked question that I had, which I think is quite funny because this confuses me as well. And that is tracking things like rice and pasta, because is it the dry weight? is it the cooked weight? So this is what I do. You can do this if you want. There's a few people who asked this, which I did actually find quite funny. So I usually will eat about 75 grams dry of something like that. So if it's rice or pasta, I always have around 75 grams because that's a pretty standard portion size. Sometimes the packet will say dry weight, cooked weight, and it'll have the calories for you, which is very helpful. If not, I would just weigh it again when you put it on the plate and put those calories in, because I'd rather over egg it than under egg it. So I'd rather it says I've eaten 300 calories of rice even if I've only eaten 250, because otherwise I'm going to end up maybe in a calorie surplus, and if my goal is weight loss, then I don't want that. So maybe do that. Thought I'd answer that question because I thought it was quite funny. Another pillar to the first question was knowing how many proteins, carbs and fats you should be eating. But yeah, a calorie calculator will do that for you. So just put that in. Everyone's numbers will be different. If your goal is weight loss, then I would just focus on hitting your calorie target and your protein target, because protein is very important for for absolutely everything in the body, to be fair. That was another question that I got asked, but this would go on all day if I answered every single one. But protein, derived from the Greek word primary, if that helps, I would say is probably one of the most, if not the most important macronutrient for everything in our bodies. And if your goal is weight loss, I'll just tell you this fact, that we actually use about 1/3 of the calories in protein just from digesting it. Protein is the hardest thing for our body to digest. That's why it keeps us full for longer. It's slower to digest. So I think if you consume something like 100 calories worth of chicken, you'd actually use about 25 to 30 calories of that chicken just digesting it, because your body does use calories to digest the food. I hope this is making sense. The next question I got asked a lot of was about good and bad fats and good and bad carbs. See quotations. So I'm going to quickly try and rattle through this and hopefully it makes sense. So good and bad fats. There are 3 types of fats which I'll use the words good and bad just for argument's sake, maybe to make it easier. The 3 fats you want to include in your diet are saturated fat, monounsaturated fat and polyunsaturated fat. So saturated fats are things like coconut oil, butter, egg yolk, really good for the immune system. Monounsaturated fat, which is great for cardiovascular health. It includes things like kind of like the Mediterranean diet, things like avocados and olive oil, peanut butter, things that you shouldn't heat up and you should eat them in their kind of raw state. And polyunsaturated fat, which is your omega-3, omega-6, amazing for the hair, amazing for the skin, amazing for your nails, amazing for your immune system, pretty much everything. They're like the holy grail of the healthy fats. You want to eat them all. So oily fish, walnuts, flaxseed oil, seeds, avocados, just all the good fats, you want to include them. And then when it comes to things like trans fats, you can pretty much guess what they are. So, you know, cakes, biscuits, even things like margarine, anything which has kind of been processed, any kind of processed fat. And the reason that they're bad is because if you consume a lot of trans fats, it's going to basically block the cells, the fat cells, from using the good fats in your diet. So if you're eating, you know, lots of like avocados and flaxseed oil, amazing for, you know, your immune system and your skin and your gut health and everything. Eating a lot of like pastries and cakes is basically going to take over. You can't sit with us. There's only room for one type of fat, and that is the good fat. Obviously have a cake and a biscuit, everything in moderation. And if your goal is weight loss, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just hit your calories, hit your protein, your carbs and fats can kind of act as sliders. But if you wanted a bit more of an in-depth into the kind of different types of fats, then eat the good fats, avoid the cakes and biscuits if you want to lose weight. But you can have a biscuit every now and then. Like, I have chocolate quite a bit and it's fine. Just depends what your goal is. Don't take everything. This is kind of for like optimum nutrition, not for, you know, everyday living. You don't have to restrict yourself to. And then in terms of good and bad carbs, try and keep this simple as well. If you kind of split it into 3, you've got like simple carbs, complex carbs, and then fiber. Simple carbs will be things like sugar, so very quick to absorb into your bloodstream, high on the glycemic index. Side note, I would look into the glycemic index, because that's how you're going to know what's going to keep you fuller for longer, what's going to give you a big hit of energy For example, if you're running in a marathon, the reason they give you a banana on the side of the road is because banana has a high glycemic index, which means it's going to quickly absorb into the bloodstream, quickly transform into glucose into the bloodstream, immediately giving you energy. The reason why they don't give you chickpeas and brown rice like on the side of the marathon is because, you know, slow release of energy keeps you fuller for longer, high in fibre, and that's not what you need when you're running 26.2 miles. Hope that's right. So I would suggest when planning your carbs to kind of maybe plan it around exercise. If you aren't working out or exercising, you know, totally fine. Have no carbs are bad, and I pretty much eat all the carbs. Like, carbs are life. But it is good to take into account things like fibre, because we don't have the enzymes in our body to digest fibre. So basically, you could call it calorie free. What goes in has to come out. Amazing for your bowel movements, amazing for your gut health. If you focus your carbs around fibre, like, you will be #winning. But absolutely fine, have a bagel, have some spaghetti, it's cool. But I would always try and like moderate what you're eating in terms of what's going to be quick release into the bloodstream and what's going to give you sustained energy. So if you can opt for, you know, whole grain, you will get that added source of fibre, better for the digestion, but it is also fine to, you know, eat the white rice, as long as if you're hitting your calories, hitting your protein. It really doesn't matter if you're having white or brown carbs, you will still lose weight. Again, I'm talking about the kind of optimum nutrition here. So yeah, just play around with your carbs, just as long as you're like, make sure you get enough fibre in every meal, have a good variety of fats, have a good variety of everything, have some pizza as well, because life's too short. So question number 4 out of 5. Things that I can eat for good skin. That's pretty much the question. What can I eat for good skin? So I'll put this into 3 categories again. Basically, your skin and what you look like, we are what we eat and all that jazz, it all comes down to your gut health, and I'm obsessed with gut health. About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with IBS, and they prescribed me tablets and everything for it, and I didn't really want to take them because I don't really take tablets. And it wasn't until maybe about a year after that where I really started focusing on like my diet and my health that I literally realised that I was fine. I have been taking a probiotic every morning for probably the last 4 years. So it's probably a combination of that and exercising and a healthy diet, but we are what we eat. Your gut is like a reflection of what you look like. So there's 3 ways that I would optimize my gut health. 1, water. Hydration is key. We literally can't digest things without water. Water is pretty much like the holy grail of all of our bodily functions, for our blood cells, for our growth, for our urination, bowel movements, our glowing skin, not feeling horrific. So much fatigue comes from being dehydrated. I could talk about it all day. But yeah, water is obviously the MVP of good gut health, good skin. Fibre is second to that. So yeah, fibre, I didn't really kind of go into details about it in the last question, but fibre will be things like beans, legumes, all vegetables, fruit. I mean, if you want to Google high fibre foods, broccoli, sweet potato, bananas, nuts, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, all that kind of good stuff. A good flowing gut means a good, happy skin. And then also thinking about different properties in foods if you want to kind of go nitty gritty. So things like turmeric is an amazing anti-inflammatory. So if I've ever got a spot or anything like that, or if I'm just feeling a bit inflamed, maybe if I've had a lot of alcohol, having things like turmeric, which is really good for kind of inflammation, then you can kind of use foods like that to give you certain results. So there's that. Hope that answers the gut health question. And lastly, so my camera just died. My camera just died, so I'm going to answer the last question and then wrap this up before it dies again. So the last question frequently asked was about body type and eating for your body type. And this is something I feel very strongly about. because I think I've definitely been the type of person who will look at what other people eat and see what they look like and think, if I eat that, I'll look like that. But the truth is, we all have very different bodies, different genetics. We hold fat in different areas. You know, no two people are the same. We're all literally unique. So you have to ignore what everyone else is doing and just focus on what works for you. Some body types can eat loads and loads of calories and they've got really fast metabolism and they're very genetically gifted and they have abs without even trying. And then some people put on weight very quickly, hold water, you know, could have to get to 5% body fat to even show an ab. That person is me. If I eat a donut, you can literally see it on me the next day. You know, a lot of my friends are very gifted. They don't have to do much. They always look lean and small and they just eat loads. And yeah, you know, it sucks sometimes when you have to work that little bit harder, but it just doesn't matter. You're an individual. So go on a calorie macro calculator, find out your calories and macros, which will fit your, as I said, age, height, weight, lifestyle, everything, how much you move, everything. Go and figure that out, and then you can kind of trial and error. Like, do you feel full? Do you feel hungry? Have you got enough energy to work out? Just move your body more. And I just think when it comes to body types, just do a little bit of research and just do what works for you. And if I'm just going to wrap this up, I really hope some of this made sense. I definitely have a tendency to not structure things and ramble, but I will try and get better. And if you want me to do another one of these and answer more questions about like weight loss or weight gain, or even like fueling around kind of athletic performance, because I'm specializing in that too, then I will. But I'll kind of end this and just say that this was mainly dedicated for people who want to lose weight or lose fat. I think that's because that's what my journey has been. Like, I've been a yo-yo dieter since I was 17 or 18. Like, I was quite small when I was younger, and then when I went to uni, I just blew up like a balloon. You know, I don't have a fast metabolism at all. I do have to be quite conscious of what I eat if I do want to kind of be lean, and that's just a personal preference. Like, whatever makes you happy. Like, if you feel really unhappy, you know, with the way you look and you've got no confidence, then I'll say yes, like, change your lifestyle, be a bit healthier, you'll feel better, you'll have more energy, you'll have better skin, you'll have better self-esteem. But if you are happy and, you know, it's just people in the media maybe making you think that you need to lose weight, like, you don't. Like, if you're happy, carry on with whatever you're doing and just go on an unfollow spree if anyone's making you feel like you're not good enough, because you are. We all have, you know, different insecurities and self-esteem issues. So whatever makes you feel the happiest, do that. I'm just here with the facts. And yeah, if you ever have any questions or anything, I will help you, of course. And it's all about your individual goals. But yeah, the basics: calories in versus calories out, hit your protein, get your steps in, should have mentioned your NEAT, but it didn't come up in the thing. You know, I'm obsessed with moving, getting 10,000 steps in, walking, cleaning, just moving. Like, even now, burning calories. Love that for me. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because I could ramble all day, but thank you for watching. This was loads of fun. I feel like I've got loads of friends when I just spend so much time by myself. Okay, I'm gonna go. Have a good day.